Hey guys, Blake here, and today I'm taking a look at Vamp on the Batwalk, a 2 to 6 player competitive trick-taking game where this time you can't see your own hand of cards. So if you stick around, I'm going to tell you why I think Vamp on the Batwalk might be one of your new favorite family-style trick-taking games, or why I think these vampires just plain suck. So Vamp the Batwalk is a super simple trick-taking game where players are vampires who cannot see their own reflection. So they're competing to be the most fashionable, but because they can't see themselves, that is reflected in the gameplay by players not being able to see the cards that they have in their hand. So each player is going to select a vampire and take the cards that match their standee. Each player has 7 total cards, a 1 through 5, a garlic card, and a star card. In this game, not surprisingly, numbers go in ascending order, and star is the sort of most powerful card, but a garlic can beat a star. So each player is going to take their deck of cards, they're all going to shuffle them all together, and you're going to randomly deal out 5 cards per player. So once a player has their hand of cards, they will hold them out so the other players can see them, but they would not get to see them. You will get the information of what the other players have, or what the other players are wearing, I guess, but you won't know what you have. Additionally, there's a few cards that are left out of the pile, so you can't completely math it out because there are going to be some cards that are not in play. The starting player is the player who is considered the most fashionable, and they're going to start the game by playing a card face up. Once they've played a card, that card is considered the lead card. So in this instance, a 2 in this purple color is the lead card. In order for the next player to take the lead, they would need to play a purple card that's higher than 2, or they could play any card that is a star. However, if a star is played, a garlic, which is normally the lowest scoring card, trumps a star. So numbers go in sequential order. Star can potentially change the suit and is always the most powerful card, but garlic beats a star if a star has been played. If a player manages to play a card that shares the symbol or number, they have stolen the show, and they would get 1 additional point, as well as now have the lead card. The player who has the lead card at the end of the round gains a point. There are some interesting things that can happen. So like, let's say the start player plays a garlic, which is technically a value of 0, and the next player plays a purple 5, and then the next player after that plays a green 2, and then the player after that plays a purple 2. That player would steal the show and gain a point. However, this 5 is now higher than this new lead card of 2, so the 5 would actually be the card that is winning the round. So play continues with players playing a card each round until you've played all 5 cards, and that's the end of an actual round. And then you will do that 3 total times, and the player who has the most points at the end has won.
So I like this game where it's very easy to learn, and also it's the traditional trick taking, but with a new spin of you can't see your own cards, so that makes it a little bit more fun. You have to kind of figure out the strategy. It's not where trick taking games you know exactly what you're playing, so it has that mysterious element of you don't know what's going to happen really.
I like it because I think it's like a good intro trick taking game. I think it's very age appropriate because of the theme, and it's very accessible. This is something I could play with kids. This is something I could play with my parents. There's not a lot of complicated rules. It's really easy to teach, and it's very colorful and bright, so it kind of catches the eye.
I like what they did here. A lot of people use the box for stuff, but this kind of fits the theme. It's a runway. You got the actual runway, that's the box. You got the background. You got the standees actually standing. And kind of, I don't know, perfectly themed.
I think my negative would be, and it's kind of nitpicky because I did say a pro is that it's it's very simple, but I almost feel like it's too simple because there's all these different colors and different characters, but they're all exactly the same. They don't do anything different. It would have been a nice addition to the game, or a nice feature if they all had maybe a special ability, or just one thing that differentiates them from everyone else.
Simple game, simple setup, so
So I would definitely play it again. I'd give it a 7.5.
It's like a good starter game, or start the night kind of game. I would probably maybe like a 7, 6.5.
I would give it a 6. It's a good game. Combines two elements, that Hanabi sort of, you can't see your cards, and it's trick taking. And then any game where you can kind of get some people that don't play a lot into it is always a good thing to have on your shelf.
So here's the thing, Vamp on the Batwalk is a very simple game, and so I'm gonna try to keep my review portion of it pretty simple. The positives, I think this game plays extremely quick. It's very easy to teach. It's got a fun theme to it. It doesn't take itself too seriously. And it's the kind of game where you can easily play 2, 3, 4 rounds of it to start your game night or to end your game night. And I think most people are gonna have a decent time with this game. I also think this is one that's great for families. The artwork obviously is very cartoonish. It's very family friendly. These aren't your, Twilight vampires. These aren't your romance novel vampires. Anybody I think could get into this game. If anything, it does kind of blur on the lines of being a little bit cheesy, but I do like that. To me, this is a very approachable game that anyone can really dig into. I also think this is the kind of game where there's going to be a lot of laughs. There's just a lot of moments where you think you've got that card that's going to steal the show, and it's just a complete flop. There's a fun level of tension you can have in this game, looking around the table and trying to kind of psych people out about what cards they have or about what cards you think you have. But it does require the players to interact to a degree. I think if you have a group of players who are mathematicians or who, like I said, like counting cards, so to speak, they might not love this because there is that unknown element of, I don't for sure know what I have in my hand, and there's no way for me to absolutely know based on the cards that aren't in play. But I personally really like that. I have to say, for me, one of the main negatives is I'm just not a huge fan of the artwork. I think while it is very family friendly and is very kind of cutesy, it's just not my favorite. I wish there was a little more sparkle. I think while the cardboard standees help to keep the cost of the game low, I would have loved to have seen maybe some acrylic standees. And one thing I've said before, and I'll probably always say, I'm never a big fan of when the box is a component of the game. And while I know some people love that, it keeps everything kind of nice and compact. For me, I always worry about, now if I damage the box, I'm also damaging a component of the game. So I do wish there was a separate runway that you could use instead of relying on the box's sort of built-in runway. So in conclusion, I really like Vamp on the Batwalk. I think it's a light, easy to teach, easy to play game. And like I said before, you can play several rounds of it quickly. I think, if you have a group who's looking for that, loves a nice, fun, simple game to start off game night with or to end game night with, I think they might like Vamp on the Batwalk. If you have a group of mathletes who love counting cards and like the more serious themes, not that Hanabi's a serious theme, but just something a little less cartoonish, they might still prefer Hanabi. They might not like the fact that they don't know what they have in their hand, or they don't know what all the cards in play possibly are. But I think if you're looking for a game to introduce trick taking to your friends, or if you're looking for a game that you can play with the whole family, I think you should look into Vamp on the Batwalk. For me, it's about a 7.5 out of 10. However, if I were bringing games over to play with my parents and I was playing this with them, I would give it a solid 8 out of 10 because I know it's a game that they would like and be able to learn really quickly. If I was bringing it to my Gloomhaven buddies, I would probably rate it a little bit lower because I don't know how that would fly with them. Those are my thoughts on Vamp the Batwalk. If you've played it, tell me where it falls in your collection of games or in your collection of trick-taking games. But that's all for now. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.